Hi everybody, Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. I'm so sorry, an email literally come through, so I've just got 2 seconds. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Not a great way to start a show, but anyway, just shows that we are live. We are live. Done. Anyway. Anyway, start again. Russell Network. Hope you are all well. And more importantly, to our American friends, American colleagues, American hammers, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. And in the true tradition of Thanksgiving, he sees in the true traditions of Thanksgiving, we have Thanksgiving football today. Obviously, proper football, not American football, soccer, not soccer. So you have obviously West Ham tonight in the Europa League against Rapid Vienna. Rapid Vienna. Point. All we need is a point to qualify at top of the group and to be to obviously win the group, go into the final 16 rather than finishing second and going into the final 32. Exciting times. We'll be on live from 5 o'clock ish. Make sure the only way you can be sure what time we actually come on is if you hit the bell notification. So you hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell, ding, and you'll know when we're on. Now, obviously, last time we did loads of. We'll go through some comments in a minute, but last week we did on a Thursday a transfer roundup, where basically I went through all the latest gossip and rumors and things like that, and collated them for you, and gave you my thoughts in the patent pending Budden Believability Barometer, the BBB. The triple B. So we'll be going through that. We'll be going for that in terms of understanding who we can do and who I think is there's some likelihood or not. That makes sense, because some rumors are just absolute codswallop. Let's have a look at the chat. Long Dark Tunnel, come in your eye and simply, Sharky, we are so massive. UEFA are even afraid of us. They've banned our supporters. They banned every supporter in Austria. That's how mad they are. Afternoon, James. Hope you're well. Talis, okay. Don't forget to order your Black Friday minge. Indeed, Black Friday, some good deals on the West Ham site. Guten Tag to Pete, hope you're well. Father Snowman, happy holidays indeed. Darren, good evening to you, all the way in Thailand. Luke's in, Scott's in, Ludders is in. Turned out cold all of a sudden. Had to pop on my slippers. On your feet, hopefully. Yes, it is. We are massive. Gaz, I hope you're well. GP, hope you're well. The Hazara, afternoon lads. Focus Russ, indeed. God, there's loads. Is Black Friday a bog off deal? You better believe it. Do we have US fans? We have loads of US fans. All like Wally and people like that as well. Is that bird drunk? Let's have a look. Is that bird drunk? Well, yeah, he doesn't look very excited. He's going to be eating in a minute. So there we go. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Good evening from India. Krishna, good evening to you, sir. Come on, Russ, 1:20 a.m. start in the morning, indeed. Indeed. Spencer Burrows, hope you're well. Afternoon to Rob. Oh dear, just go. Gaza. Nice jumper, Russ. Look warm and cuddly. Thanks, GP. I always am. BBB, it's time to start the blame, indeed. Literally just got to zoom for everything so before we start the chat, because we had bread massive turkeys. They all have to be in 7 because too big to do it naturally. How sad, very sad. Anyway, hope to see some youth players start tonight. Yeah, we won't talk much about. We'll talk about a bit about the game at the end. Anton and Matt and Mateus, the Rapid Vienna manager, Rapid Vienna fan, did a great shout. And so, yeah, they went through quite a bit. And as reports coming out, obviously Antonio hasn't travelled, Fabianski hasn't travelled, and like people like Perkins, Chester are out there as well. So hopefully, we were talking in our chat, in our sort of our little group chat on WhatsApp, me, Still, and Anton, that needs must, I think, with this team now. So we've got, including today, 11 games before the end of the season, end of the year, and that's 9 games in December. From the 1st to the 28th. So any opportunity, I think, to give people rests. I think whatever team we put out is going to have enough to get at least a point. That's all we need is a point. That's all we need. I thought it was Neil Rudiger. Unbelievable. Thank you very much. Unbelievable. See, New Jersey. Happy Thanksgiving, sir. Hope you're well. Super. Hope you're well, my friend. Right, let's get into it. So on a Thursday, I put together all the latest transfer news, give you my thoughts and all that type of stuff with the button believability barometer. So let me just crack on. And someone's already alluded to it. This man, Anthony Rudiger. So we are apparently interested in a swoop to sign Antonio Rudiger from Chelsea, according to a report from westhamfans.org. There we go. We've obviously stacked up Zuma in the summer and paid just under 30 million to secure his signature. And obviously he's done really well since he's joined in. The German international has a contract that expires in the summer, meaning he could be available for a knockdown price potentially in the January transfer window. Who knows? Negotiations over a new contract have stalled, with the defender keen to earn about 200 grand a week, which will be a little rich for the Irons. Yeah, exactly. A little bit rich for us. However, the report makes it clear the Hammers could do some financial manoeuvring, whatever that means, in order to bring the centre back in, should he reveal his own interest. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got the button believability barometer, and I've put him down as a don't see this one happening at all. I really don't. But there's some, but I put a little bit rather than nothing. I put a little bit because obviously there is the Chelsea connection, there is the Premier League connection as well. But again, you're thinking, will Chelsea want to send one of their players to us to improve us? Exactly. And at 200 grand, as James says, not a chance at all. Ken percentage go negative. Not on this one, unfortunately. Release Yarmolenko would free up cash for Rudiger, but 200 for him when we want offer it to Rice. Indeed. So I can't see this one happening. Hi, guys. I'm a Darlington fan. We were made bankrupt in 2000. We formed in 2012, demoted 4 leagues. We're currently a fan-owned National League. We have 3 promotions to date. Ian, fantastic. Thanks for joining us, man. Please get on. Please get involved in the chat. So much. It's great. On form, he's Chelsea's 14th best player. There we go. Wally, good. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Turkey Day to you, my friend. So there's Rudiger. Next one. And what we do, we try and keep him in order. So we're keeping him with the centre backs. This guy's been, next one's been spoken about quite a bit. Nicholas Stark. So the Daily Mail have claimed that West Ham are monitoring the progress of Hertha Berlin defender Nicholas Stark. It's been revealed that the Hammers, that's us, have identified Stark, the German centre-back, as a potential option ahead of the January transfer window. Stark's been a regular in the heart of the Hertha Berlin defence and deserves some credit for some dominant displays in German football. He's 26, has made 11 appearances for the club this season, averaging 1 tackle, 1.6 interceptions, and 6.1 clearances per 90 minutes. And I'm going to talk about stats a little bit later on because in lieu of tomorrow's show. Stark could help the East London outfit sustain their push for a top 4 in the Premier League this season. Now, this one seems more believable to me. 26 as well. Wouldn't be wanting 200 grand a week, that's for sure. So on the old button believability barometer, I'm getting better at saying that, really. I've put it at so that's me. This is a okay, there we go. So Harley thinks it's been solid. Watched Bundesliga over the last few years. Indeed, I think he's solid. And I'm going to talk about centre backs more specifically tomorrow, and we'll allude to that at the end of the show today, so you know what we've got coming up tomorrow. Stark sounds like a hammer in the making. He does. Nicholas Stark. He sounds like he means business. Right. Okay, let's move on. So those are defenders. So we're going to talk a lot about more defenders tomorrow in relation to Oggy and his replacement, and we've got some stats and all really cool stuff, very, very different from what we tend to do, rather than more sort of speculative. We've gone quite analytical for tomorrow, so there we go. In terms of this guy, now obviously Stell alluded to him. He did a daily show the other day, yesterday as well, about it, but obviously for old Jesse Lingard. Now Dan Coombs, Man United experts from United in Focus, said that Lingard to West Ham was very much dependent on the 2 clubs being in competition for one another for a Champions League spot. Manchester's change of manager following the sacking of Ollie has the potential to alter the landscape. But obviously, as we said, as Stowe alluded to yesterday, obviously he was somewhat snubbed by Carrick in the was it Champions League squad the other day. And the United in Focus expert Dan Coombs did say that the Red Devils will have to let Lingard join his preferred club in the winter, as they have treated him very badly recently and need to avoid it becoming even more of a PR disaster. So yes, indeed, I know there's, and I have slight reservations in the fact that will Man United want to sell a player to us who would potentially be us as a competitor? Would they do that? But the flip side is, if they don't, he goes on strike. It doesn't look good for United, does it? And the fact is, for 10 million quid, or even, we sign a pre-summer contract for him potentially as well, they'll have to sell him. I think. And obviously, we offered, was it 25 million, something like that, apparently, into the summer. They've already lost 15 million quid off it between, they reckon about 10 million pounds. I think still said 8.9 million, something like that. So, as we said, with Carrick's snub of Lingard the other day, the Carrick deal, somewhat 17 years after he left Upton Park for Tottenham, is finally paying off, perhaps. So I always rate this on the Budden believability barometer quite highly. So it's nearly that's basically the top. I'm very sure this is going to happen, but I think as and when, whether it's January or whether it's the summer, we will get our man. But when, I do not know. Anything? James says, Man, you have to sell him, and Lingard will dictate where. Exactly, that's what I mean. They will have to sell him to get. Otherwise, it's going to blow up in their faces. We've had the whole pie out, for God's sake. I'm thinking I might put the barometer the other side next time. Anyway, just look at myself. So they'll have to get rid of him, I think. The word for Man United fans is a done deal already. 8.9 million apparently. So I think we'll get him, but we'll have to wait and see. I would rather us pay money and get him ASAP than wait till summer. I know, GP, but it's whether Man United will sell him to us. I think they will now, because I think particularly with Carrick, also, for them, I suppose for me, it's still dependent on how quickly they bring in a replacement, if they bring in a replacement for Ollie, whether they bring in, Valverde, whether they get Poch in now, whether they give Carrick a deal to the end of the season, and then that all happens with bloody like Solskjaer. So with Solskjaer, and he turned out to be brilliant for them at the time, and then they gave him a contract, and he went absolutely shit, didn't it? So, or maybe they have to wait for Poch until the summer. I don't know. So look, we'll see. I think obviously all the Champions League stuff at the moment, Man City and PSG last night. So we'll see what happens. But I think I reckon there's still a little twist, but I'm still very confident we'll get him eventually. I don't believe anything till the ink is dry. Indeed, I don't believe anything until I was going to say till they have the shirt or the scarf, but now until the signing video is released on social media. That's how far we've come. As much as I love Lingard, he's very greedy. Potentially, but I think for me, it's like he wanted a chance. I mean, Man United is his love, and so and it's very, very rare. I mean, he could have joined us and earned good money and been a number one, and arguably got into the England squad, consistently since the beginning of the year. But he wanted to go back to Man United. He wanted to go back to his club and try and break in. So, to me, there is some old school mentality about it, but we'll see. Rob's late to the party. Hi, in chat. Hope you're my friend. Can we pay 5 million, take Phil Jones as well? Fair enough. Man United and shambles. If I was them, I'd be keeping all the players they can until the summer. I know, but whether they will want to stay to the summer is the next thing. That's the trouble, isn't it? So yeah, Mr. Lingard, as I said, very highly regarded and on the Budden believability barometer. Next up is something which actually X picked up on the other day. West Ham are keen on two Northern Ireland's hottest prospects, according to X, and Callum Marshall and Leon Boyd. While David Moyes is no doubt busy preparing his list of first team targets for the January transfer window. It looks as if the West Ham's Academy could be ready to recruit as well, with Callum Marshall 17 and Boyd, who's 15, both forwards. And they're the two names being linked with a move to the clubs you've set up. X said we're looking at two players from Linfield. One of them, who are one of the better Northern Irish teams out there. One's Callum, and one who's 17, turning 18 in a couple of weeks, forward. So it's someone we're looking at from Linfield. Another one is this Leon Boyd, who's a versatility forward. So both two could be snapped up, potentially. Worth keeping an eye on. I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of them signs, if not both. Marshall has already made first team appearances, albeit not the great standard, playing obviously in the Northern Ireland League. He scored his first debut goal, senior goal for Linfield, in a 10-0 win over PSNI in the League Cup at the start of the month. And interestingly enough, side note, which Mr. XWHU employee did not pick up on, George McCartney, former Hammer, and soon to be back on the channel as a guest very, very soon, has been working with Linfield since September, I believe. So, we're going to get him on a channel hopefully next week. So maybe we'll just allude to it with him, so we'll see what happens. So it's good to see, although we're trying to get players in, we'll improve the first team squad, they're still keeping that sort of, looking at the academy players and the people we can bring through. So the bottom believability barometer is a meh, because we do tend to do this every transfer window, get a couple of good youngsters in. So obviously in the summer we have people like Okaflex and people like that in there as well. Who we got in there? The new George Best. Yes, please. Exactly, Father Snowman. We need new players who can help our squad now. We do. And I think there's a mixture for me. He likes Irish players. He signed Coleman a few years ago for a 5p and a penny tool with threepence and enough money to get the bus ride home. Love us to sign Zaha. There was Coleman was mustard. Very good, Luke. Very, very good. Very, very good. See, it's all fun and games here. So that's the button barometer for these two. I think it could happen. As I said, we do tend to get a few youngsters, and it keeps. We had Okaflex, we had Neves as well. We brought a few in over the summer, and I think it just shows and hopefully we like tonight as well. We'll see some of the under 23s feature, and then it just gives us a bit of a, just keeps it moving along. Right. Okay. Who next? Let's go forwards. Let's start with this man, Mohammed Bayo or Bayo. Apparently, our search for a forward has turned back to Clement Foot and striker Mohammed Bayo as a plan for our January window. The Sun claim that West Ham are revving up, it says. Don't know how you rev up, but they are revving up a move to sign Bayo in the coming winter transfer. We wanted him over the summer, but didn't get a deal done. But with the new investment from Danny Krasinski, West Ham now have apparently the cash to go and get Bayo in. Apparently Southampton, Brighton and Brentford are also sniffing around for him. But West Ham are the most likely destination right now. It won't come cheap though. Well, relatively, when they say, it is relatively cheap, I think, to be honest. Clement Foot allegedly want 15 million for him. He's 23. He smashed 22 goals in last season in in the League 2. Is because I know you have Ligue 1. Is it League 2? Is the league? I think so. As his hometown team, Clement Foot were promoted into Liga, and he has already racked in this year playing for Liga 7 goals in 12 appearances. So the step up into Liga doesn't seem to have scared him at all, and he's shown he can mix it in France's top flight. Most interestingly enough, he has recently compared his own playing style to Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So he obviously thinks very highly of himself, and you can see potentially why West Ham want him. But he's obviously has a very good opinion of himself, which is great. Which just shows to me that he's he thinks highly of himself, which is great, which I think is brilliant. The only thing is he does play for Guinea, so I haven't looked at the AFCON whether he's potentially going to be playing for Guinea. I don't know whether Guinea whether they've qualified or not, but that could be a slight fly in the ointment, perhaps. But 15 million quid, I think that's a good deal. I reckon that's a good deal. What we got here? What's everyone saying in the chat so far? Zaha, same hairdresser as Alex Song. Didn't he do well? That goalie's face, he doesn't look too happy by it, but he looks, and he's a bit of a big boy as well, so I think he'd do well for us, and definitely be an alternative to an Antonio, that's for sure. We need to look at Celtics. Furuhashi, very good. Oh me, oh my, gotta be oh my, indeed. There was no buyback clause in his loan deal. He had to go back. Did Okaflex travel to? I don't think he did. I don't know, but I'm not too sure. I've been looking at him. He looks powerful, but he does seem a powerful. Anyone who thinks they are Zlatan other than Zlatan, he's not going to fit in. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Does anyone know what radio station West Ham go? Oh, more importantly, Ken, come and watch the watch along. And it'd be great. We'll be there from 5 o'clock, so make sure you check it out. So there we go. So we put Bayo in. I like Bayo. So on the old button believability barometer, I've put him at meh. That's what he said. Meh. So I think this one that has legs. I think this one's got legs, and he's got two, so it helps. Speaking of forwards, there's this guy Jonas Wind. A lot of people have been talking about this guy potentially. A lot of rumours have been coming up in the last week or so. He claims back in October that we were after him. Apparently, there was interest from David Moyes. He's 22. He scored 10 goals in 25 matches for FC Copenhagen this year. On top of that, 5 assists. So not too shabby, Alonso. He has been playing as more of an attacking midfielder, but has been playing further forward as well at times. And he's a full Danish international as well. Those claims back in October said we were closely interested. Don't know what that means, you're either interested or not, but we are closely interested in him. And stated that Copenhagen would want at least 20 million euro to allow them to leave in January. However, the Premier League side may be able to get him for less, with 11 million quid as the potential fee. It makes more sense than the early one, to be honest. It's thought only Premier League teams would want to pay that sort of type of fee for that type of player. They'll be able to match that price in January. But I don't know if this will happen in January, if at all. Etc. Beladet, the Danish news outlet, believes that Wynn will likely stay where he's been before a transfer move in the summer. And Claret, who have also said a similar thing. So the chances I'm enjoying January are small, but it could be a summer transfer potentially. So the old button believability barometer is there we go. Right, what we got in the chat quickly. Rich is in the chat. Hope you're well, my friend. Mama Cox is booked parents' evening from not popular. Oh dear, shame. I know about Dane. His pastries and lovely. I feel that players like this will be bought and loaned back or out potentially. I mean, if we get a good deal for him, then maybe we will loan him back to Copenhagen for the. I don't know when the Copenhagen. They've already played 25 games this season though. So I'm not too sure when the Danish league finishes, but potentially, I mean it's potential, but I wouldn't put my house on him. If that makes sense. Next one, this guy. This is my guy, Adam Hlozek. According to Claret and Hugh, West Ham are leading the race to sign him. They reckon that the Hammers are leading the chase for the Sparta Prague forward. It's believed that with Krasinski coming in, who's part owner of Sparta Prague, he will simply not allow the Czech superstar, the Czech starlet, to move anywhere else apart from West Ham. Obviously, he's 19 years old. It would be a superb addition to the West Ham forward line in January. The Athletic claimed that West Ham wanted to sign him in the summer. We missed out. However, it seems as though Moyes would go back in for him in January. Whether it's a similar deal to Thomas Souček, some people have been saying, whether it's a loan to buy type thing potentially. I don't know, but I think Krasinski and his power, his weight, he's in terms of only 40% of Sparta Prague, would mean that if there was another club coming, I think West Ham would then be made aware of that. So on the old button believability barometer, it's meh. I could see this one happening. I see this one happening. I think Lingard, I can see this happening, and I can see this one happening. What we got here? Surely it's a done deal now. We hope so. I mean, I hope so. We'll see. Hlozek and Lingard are 75% done in my eyes. That's how I see it, mate. And as if by magic, GP, as if by magic, talking about Jonathan David. Hello, who's this man? Jonathan David. There we go. New reports. Names bargain price Lille wanted for. Lille want a bargain price for striker Jonathan David, and it's a no-brainer, I think, for West Ham, to be perfectly honest. We actually had Craig Forrest on the channel last week, and we spoke about, I think it may have been you, GP, or someone asked a question about Jonathan Davis and his likelihood to step up, and apparently he said, this guy is a hard worker, he's really strong, and he could be a really good player in the Premier League. He is 21 as well, quite young. And versatile little forward David would be an ideal player, as he can operate as part of a front three. So he can play out front of his own, or he can play either sides. Not only that, according to The Guardian, he's available for as little as £25 million due to Lille's financial problems. So, the price should not be an issue for West Ham either, I don't think. 25 million. I think, sort of 2025 is sort of what you're looking at for a decent striker, I reckon, if you're paying without having to pay someone out their contract for 6 months, in my opinion. So that's not a bad deal. He's at 21 goals in 43 league games this year, including a win against PSG and a late double against Marseille. Plus, he scored the opener in Lille's win against Angers on the final day of last season. His brace in the first 9 minutes of Lille's 2-2 draw with Monaco last weekend took his tally to 10 in the league this season, making him the leading goal scorer in France, ahead of Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi. Not a bad place to be. Lille want 25 million, says the Guardian. This is increasingly likely to be David's final season at Lille. So I think there's legs in this one. I really think there's legs in this one, to be honest. So I'm going to go with a. I think 25 million. As soon as you put a big wage on it, but as I said, I think 25 million. We spent it on Zuma. I think for a striker, you're going to come in and you want, and I mean, and this guy's firing all cylinders. He actually is. What we've got here, we've got David plays best in the front two. Carlo will be a much better fit as is a natural scorer. Check it out on YouTube. No, definitely. Bargain price, Lil. I know you hit her well. Cheaper than Amazon Minge, indeed. Davies is a striker in the front two. Good player. Laris is faster and maybe a better scorer, maybe. But I mean, Craig Forrest, this guy's good. What about Belotti? No reports. Nothing new about Belotti this week. So as I said, if you want, we did talk about Belotti last week, amongst others. So that's what came up. We're only going to do the news that came up, rather than keep going, because we could be for hours talking about Belotti and everyone else. Anything new that comes up, any new reports, that's what we report on for this show. As a Canadian, I love David, but I really feel Larin will be a better fit and will be make a better transition to the Premier League. With Chilwell out for the season, will Cresswell get the call for England? Who knows? What's the fee around for Hlozek? Looks good on the YouTube highlights. I think with Hlozek, the idea being would be a loan to buy in the summer, potentially, in the same way that we did the deal with Thomas Souček. So I think it's around 20-25 million, I believe. Don't quote me, but that's what I think could be announced. Fellaini, there we go. Not going to happen. Love a bit of Prime Minge, indeed. Right. Let's carry on. We've got a few more. We've got 1, 2, 3 more players. Then we can see everyone else. Next is this guy, Youssef En-Nesyri. Again, someone we've been talking about quite a long time, but there's been a lot of press coming out in the last few days about him. Spanish media outlet Vichayes. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Vichayes reckons that the Hammers will make a move to sign the Sevilla hitman in January. Estadio Deportivo I don't know. Recent suggested the 24-year-old could be available for around £42 million. That seems a lot of money for a striker who's unproven in the Premier League, in my opinion. But we believe that En-Nesyri is more than worth that kind of fee, though, because he would be the ideal January addition to Moyes' squad at London Stadium. He is described as a brilliant striker by well-renowned football website Sport Mob. The 24-year-old is lively, quick, and has great mobility and movement. He's pretty good in the air as well. In short, he is the complete striker, apparently. The Moroccan international scored 23 goals in 46 games last season for Seville, and he has 3 and 7 to his name this season. And En-Nesyri is a classic all-round front man. And this is the guy that apparently Moyes put a bid in for in the summer, and we didn't get him. And so we didn't buy anyone else because this is the guy that he wanted. So we'll see what happens. So for me, the Budden believability barometer has gone for a... That's my rating. Right, let's get through all the others. There's 2 more. Is it 2 more? Let's have a look. Yeah, 2 more, and then we'll go for the chat and have a bit of a giggle. So there's this guy, Dusan Vlahovic, which well, we were linked to, but in all honesty, we're not going to get. And Claret and Hugh recently reported as well, unlikely to be able to afford him, to be honest, in the next 2 transfer windows at least. Italian outlets, news outlet Calcio Mercato, that sounds Japanese, the way I just pronounced it. But anyway, reported in March that the Hammers were interested in a swoop to sign him. Along with Borussia Dortmund. However, it seems the asking price has shot up in recent weeks, with a new report from The Athletic claiming the Italian club want £67.3 million. He's been in electric form for Fiorentina, scored 10 goals in 13 games thus far in Serie A. And he's a Serbian international. He's 21, and he scored 7 goals in 14 games for his country as well. The Athletic claim there's now interest from across Europe in securing his signature. Atletico Madrid were interested last summer, while 4 English clubs are reportedly to have made an inquiry about his availability. The Hammers may well have been one of those, but I think with the price tag, I just think no. The smallest chance, but I don't think so. I really don't. Just don't think he's in the right ballpark for what we need for that type of money, and he's not going to come in and be number 2, is he? And he's going to want to come in and be the number 1, and that's Antonio. That's why I think Hlozek is the man, or this man potentially, according to Calcio Mercato. That's Japanese as well. I can't do any other accent apparently. There's this guy, Vitor Oliveira. He's emerged as one of the most sought after players in the Portuguese market at the moment. The Braga attacker is apparently a target for multiple clubs across Europe, including us and Spurs. Commonly known as Vitinha. He is a centre forward by trade who is regarded as one of the most promising talents in Portugal at the moment. He's a product of Braga's youth academy, and the player has raised many eyebrows, it says, especially performances against Santa Clara in the Taça de Portugal. He scored 4 goals in a 6-0 victory recently, and his efforts in the cup earned him promotion to the first team, to the senior side in October. He's even notched up 4 league appearances in the Liga Bren, notably scoring his maiden goal in a narrow victory over Gil Vicente about a month ago. 21-year-old has represented Portugal at youth team levels, and given his current rate of progress, it's only a matter of time before he's called up to the full Portuguese national side. His rapid rise to prominence hasn't gone unnoticed by English clubs. As I said, Spurs and us are believed to be battling it out for his signature next year. However, one would argue West Ham be a better fit for him, in that Spurs, obviously, their striker, they want as a direct replacement to Harry Kane. We're looking for an alternative to Antonio, so a younger striker who can come on and eventually take over the number 1 jersey or number 9 jersey when Antonio comes to the end of his career, so to speak. So I think there could be legs in this one. I think not massively though in the old Budden believability barometer. I've gone for a mare, but maybe not for January, but it could be one to look out for, because I think there's I can see something, just the type of player he is and how he's jumped into prominence. And we like buying these youth team players in, these younger players, and building them up, like him, like Hlozek, these type of players. I can see a similarity there. Maybe could be maybe slightly more expensive than Hlozek because of the Sparta Prague connection potentially. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But let's have a look in the chat and see what we've got so far. Right. Let's zoom up a little bit. Do we sign up to enable us to get international loans in? No. But you can have as many international loans as you want. It's the domestic loans. I think you have 2 domestic loans and 4 international loans or something like that. I think so. Belotti is staying in Italy apparently. Are we Lingard in or Lingard out? I'm Lingard in. I'll be honest. I am very much Lingard in. Let's see. Hi, Steve. Hope you're well. Youngsters in the team tonight, hopefully, but we'll be online starting from about 5 o'clock. I think Stell's actually doing in a bit. Actually, Stell's going to be talking about that in a bit more detail in terms of the youth team and potentially playing in the Europa League squad. So that'll be a show in about 20 minutes or so. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Don't think we're in a position to say no. Got the squits. Fair enough. Keep taking the Imodium, my friend. Rudiger. Yep. Okie dokie. We'll see. Let's just buy all the Chelsea defenders. Let's do it. Russie, if you could only sign one of those players in January, who are you bringing in? I am bringing in Jesse Lingard. If I had 2, I'm bringing in Jesse Lingard and I'm bringing in Hlozek. If I had 3, I'm bringing in Jesse Lingard, Hlozek, and Kaletakar. But we'll talk about defenders in a minute. Because when I finish, because we're going to talk about all the defender options tomorrow. So I think you guys will really, really enjoy. En-Nesyri is on fire. He is. Hlozek, loan David, and Lingard in the centre back. I'll be ecstatic for around 50 million. I think that's what I want. To be honest. Lingard is proven to himself. Wants to get back in the England squad. Indeed, he didn't want to leave Sevilla. But Sevilla. I mean, for me as well. You got to think. Like it was the whole thing about Tarkowski, and Tarkowski didn't want to come to us because we were, relegation fodder, and now he wants to come back. Shows where we are now as a club, and the fact that we are competing. There's 3 clubs which are apparently in for En-Nesyri. Us, Man United, and Man City, I think, are the 3 or something like that. So in the Premier League, hello, we're in the big boy leagues now. Is this striker going to the ACON though? I don't know if Morocco are qualified for the ACON. Let's have a look. Yes, and probably not. Yeah, that's why I don't think we'll get En-Nesyri because they have qualified for the AFCON. So there we go. Would Lingard play as already proven a point and being a permanent signing? Yeah, I think so. Let's go through and just say Newcastle want him. Well, Newcastle want anyone. Is it true Antonio hasn't travelled? Yes, I believe so. And Fabianski. Who is this Sonny Perkins that Moyes has taken the squad? Sonny Perkins scored for the England under 17s, under 18s in the international break. Great player. If you want to know all about him and all the other stuff, Stell's doing a show a little bit later on, in literally about 20 minutes time, about all the some of the guys you probably don't know. And Sonny Perkins is, I think he signed for a few years ago, like under 14s or whatever, and he's been developing, and he is now sort of playing quite an attacking role, almost like a forward. So I think it could be good. As James has played up top for the under 23s. Rusty, exactly. I just can't do accents. I've got an A-star in drama. I just can't do accents. Can we try playing Fredericks as a striker? Put Soufal up there. Put them all up there. Plays for England under 18. Striker, indeed. Sonny Perkins sounds like a boxer. He does. But like a boxer from about the 1970s. He'd fight Muhammad Ali. Oh, I remember. Oh, it was Ali versus Sonny Perkins. Yeah, that type of thing. Steve, hope you're well. Chester should play tonight, but never going to happen. We'll see. Lingard, Hlozek, centre back, and those would be almost guaranteed top 4 if we're in the talk for the new year. I don't think we'd get En-Nesyri. I think for me, if we got Lingard, Hlozek, and a centre back, I'd be ecstatic, absolutely static. Steve's everywhere. There certainly are. There's a lot of E for that. It's a 2 probability. No, I think there is. I think there's a good one. I think it's a good one. What we got? Pie is on form in France. Kind of wish we could sign him back. Obviously, he got bottle thrown in, didn't it, the other day? What's the point of a new scouting guy when we can watch Russ? There we go. Don't need to. And I'll talk about that later on because we're doing more as well. En-Nesyri's out of Morocco squad due to injury. There we go. I agree. If we get Jesse alone, it'd be happy, but also like Origi, great shout. Rush, your 3 choices. If you're spot on there 100%. I think so. Russ, I think an intervention is required. Way too much football on the and what's happened to home. We're stopping home for a few weeks, James, just because I think we've had, just because I like to, I'll bring it back for a little bit, but I quite like this now. Could do with a few more Steves in the chat. Indeed, we haven't got enough in the chat. Said Steve. There we go. Rest of all number of players are youngsters. Indeed, Luke got a drama A-star. Worst, most both. Look, I was the first one at my school to get an A-star in drama. There we go. Centre back and striker are required if we want top 4. Inform Lingard is the finishing touch. Pave over the cracks when the team form is low and do a minimum 2021. I think for me, I think Lingard did a great job in not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. I think we were although we were top 4, we just didn't seem a bit like now where our performances aren't hitting. They're not hitting the levels that we can hit. And he just brought them back in. He just brought his energy on and off the pitch. And I think he would do the same again. He'll feel loved. And when he feels loved, he'll be a different player, completely different player. And I think for me, he's a must. I really do. Just to keep this going on, you know what I mean? I think a left back should be, but I think we've got covering left back. I think we've got Alese and we've got Longello can play left back if that ever happened, or we could switch Ben to left back for a few games and play if we had to. It's not ideal, but there's options there. We can put Masuaku. Sorry, still he's in the chat. We can put Masuaku in there, but there we go. Got a double E in CCIT in ICT. There we go. Stell's making a point. 145, not 130. You could just say in one thing. It'd be a lot easier. But there we go. That's Stell time. Watch the show after this to cover left back role. There we go. Fair enough. Yep. 145. So put 12:15 in your diary. There we go. When I say 12:30, I'm here for 12:30. As I said, Stell's gonna be talking about all the youth team guys, particularly with the Europa League coming into later on today. As we said, the talks are that Mr. Moyes hasn't taken Antonio, he hasn't taken Fabianski, and he's brought a lot of the youngsters, Perkins, Chester, and people like that. So a lot of people said, who's Sonny Perkins? Stell will talk about that, I imagine, throughout that show. So that'll be on in about half an hour. So enough time for you to get a cup of tea and a sandwich already. So that'll be good. We'll be online from the watch along about 5 o'clock, I believe. So make sure you check out. We have the highlight show immediately after. Tomorrow, we're going to do a little bit of a debrief from the game, but we've already covered that in the highlight show and stuff like that. What we will be talking about is, and we've alluded to it now, is centre backs. Now, obviously, Oggie's out. Oggie, he's basically out for the season. He's 33. He's basically out for the season. He's going to, I think the idea is you offer him a 1 year deal next year, regardless of whether he's back in the squad or not, in time for the end of the year, because his contract runs at the end of this year. But and particularly with January transfer window, there's an opportunity there to look really hard for a replacement for Oggie. I don't think stopgap. I don't think Craig Dawson will come in. I think there'll be an opportunity to get someone in who will be his replacement for many years to come. So we're going to be doing a scouting report. So myself and West Ham Analytics on Twitter, who's a fantastic Twitter channel and a Twitter account rather, he spent a lot of time looking into Oggie in terms of stats, and so if we're looking at some sort of direct replacement for Ogbonna, who would it be? So he's identified I think there's about 15 players who with similar traits and things like that. We go through them, and again, really analytical, really stat based. I think you guys will dig it. It's a bit different. It's not more speculative or stuff we've read in the paper. It's about data and stuff like that, and sort of I would assume the process which a lot of scouts and people go through. So hopefully you'll really enjoy it. I mean, I found it fascinating. I found it fascinating reading, looking through all the data that he sent through. And I've added a bit to it and stuff, and come to some conclusions. And that'll be tomorrow. So hope you enjoy that. That should be cool. If you're new and give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. As I said, Mr. Steliakos will be on at 1:45. And he said it here, 1:45. So put your diary in for 2:15. But hit the bell icon, and at least when he's planning to come on, and then he'll come on. And also, as I said, happy Thanksgiving to all of our American friends. You've got your Thanksgiving football, proper football, not American football, proper football tonight. 5:45 kickoff in the UK. So 1:45 Eastern PM. Kickoff in America and all the Pacific and Central times. You can 12 was it? No, it's not. Sorry, it's televised. So it's 5. No, it's televised. It's 12:45 Eastern, 11:45 Central, and something like 8:45 Pacific. Off the top of my head. Let's go through some last comments before we dart. If Lingard's side, no way would he repeat last season's form, but only half of that's what we need to bring it. That's all we need, mate. That's all we need. That is all we need, my friend. Has Fab been rested or is injured? I think he's been rested, my friend. Masuaku better than Lukaku. Nice to see Baptiste and youngsters in the squad indeed. If we go a couple of goals for a couple of guns to come up. Could do, man. Could do. I'm sure you'll be happy with the striker news, Steve. We've obviously spoken about some strikers as well today. Is Clips arranging a Jesus 11? Could be me and Clips are talking. Don't worry. Still, yeah, I mean, Haller scored. He's the first guy ever to score something like 9 goals in his first 5 Championship League games. I swear, if Moyes had bought him, we'd have a different player. You got Manscaped today. Good stuff. There we go. Good to know. James been trying to find clips from Wolves, but nowhere to be seen. I haven't seen that, has it? Will they also have the pedometer with sound effects? Oh, maybe. I'll have to look at that. Rush you, Turkey. Sorry, had to. There we go. Very good. 12:05. Thank you. We need to get that striker from Ajax. He's back. I've heard about him. Sebastian Haller. I've heard about him. He's quite good. We've been looking at him. There we go. Anyway, as I said, we'll be back later on, 5 o'clock for the watch along. But make sure you check out Stel. 1:45. He said 1:45, and he'll be talking about the youngsters, and particularly ones travelling to the Europa League game. As we're aware of, a number have travelled, so that's really, really exciting, I think. So. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come on, you irons. As always, we'd like to thank all our lovely channel sponsors at the end of my shows, as I always do, because I'm really nice like that. So take care, man. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
It's like a family tree.